He keeps us safe today. Anybody first time visitor to Atlanta? Yeah, a couple people, few people. Who's been here before? A lot more people. Some people didn't raise their hand. Are you confused? Was it just the airport? Okay, just making sure. The airport counts, right? We have a lot of fun things to talk about. A lot of you have been here before, so I cannot tell too many lies because a few of you can keep me on my toes. That'll be fun for me. There's a lot of things happening this weekend. We're going to explore a lot of the fun things happening all over Atlanta. We have a lot of history we get to talk about and some future endeavors to bring you back sooner than you thought. And all of this is starting in a very fun neighborhood here. This is downtown Atlanta, and everything I just mentioned is here. But the one thing that's not here is residents. There are not a lot of people that live in this neighborhood. This is an entertainment district, and right over there on the other side of that wall is 1 million cubic square feet of convention center. That's the Georgia World Congress Center. We also have a lanyard that you can plug your alma mater or team in, and you can test your trivia or physical skills. And just across the way, if you look to your left, down this walkway here, you're going to see the iconic Olympic rings. This is known as Centennial Olympic Park today, but it was the Coca-Cola Pavilion during the 1996 Summer Olympics. And just on the other side of those rings, you can't see it because the trees are blocking your view, there is a Georgia icon, and that would be Waffle House. Waffle House Arena, if you're super OG, it is Omni Center, and this is where the Hawks play. That is Dominique Wilkins as we pass by, one of our best basketball players of all time. And up ahead of us, one of the most sustainable sporting arenas in the world, this is Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Now this houses 2 pro teams. We have for American football, for the NFL, we have the Atlanta Falcons. And some people call it football, we call it soccer. We have Atlanta United for MLS. And if you guys look to the front of the stadium there, it kind of blends in, but you should start seeing a massive falcon statue. That's the tallest steel bird in the world. It's wearing a scarf. It's a very fashionable falcon. Anytime we have a soccer game here, they adorn it with a scarf. It's got different colors and different shades for holidays and occasions. And it's a very special statue. Those eyeballs on the falcon are actually facial recognition cameras. So go ahead and wave hi to the security team when you go by because Big Falcon is watching you. Now there's an interesting shape to this stadium that's on purpose. This is meant to look like a 2026 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And for my music fans, some of the biggest music stuff comes down here, of course. But Taylor Swift and Beyonce were both here for 3 days separately, a week apart from each other. So if you're still seeing glitter downtown, that's why. Now we do have all kinds of stuff around us. I will be getting into our future endeavors, this construction, the elephant in the room, if you will. But there's a lot of stuff underneath us, and it's how we get our start. So if you're not familiar with steel beams that are going across the windows, they actually spell something out. Can you see that? That name also comes from these railroads. But we had a lot of names in our past. It was an identity crisis, so let's discover what they all were. In the early 1830s, it's terminus. A few years later, John Thrasher is the first builder around these initial railroads. So Thrasherville is a nickname for a short while, and we even have a hockey team called the Thrashers. But even one lasted a long time, so it's okay if you're not familiar. So 2 times coming from the railways, although Atlanta was short enough and easy enough to write down, so it's stuck, and we've been Atlanta ever since. Now, 20 years later, just a shy of 20 years later, so practically brand new hotel right next to one of our historic buildings, which is a personal favorite of mine. This is the town. It looked like Miami a few years ago when Bad Boys was filming here, the one that just came out last summer. They made this look like Miami with some palm trees, trash cans, and graffiti. It looked just like Little Havana. So a little bit of imagination and constructive sense, and you can turn Atlanta's downtown area into just about any city around the world. So that's what Hollywood has done. Tyler Perry Studios, a half hour away, are the largest in the country. Disney and Marvel are quite far, a couple miles if you'd like to go in that direction. And our Flatiron building here is going to welcome you into the Broad Street Boardwalk, which is the name of that boardwalk over there. That is actually very similar to New York City's Flatiron building. So TV and film have made you believe this is New York City. Ours was built first, just so you guys know. But yeah, if you saw Avengers Infinity Wars, Iron Man gets thrown from this side of the building into this park over here, but they made you believe it was New York City, if you guys remember that battle scene. And Lots of community outreach. They get a nice little barbecue lunch over here. And if you weren't aware, for those of you who've been here before, we're very close to underground Atlanta. This is where we're creeping toward. For those of you that have no idea, we're on the second level of the city. Underneath us is our second level. It forced all of those original shops and storefronts to shut down. So in the 1930s, they built this all out to make it safe for the pedestrians, the cars, the horse and buggy, so that's where everyone was. And then all the trains were underneath us on their tracks. And it was like that for a little over 30 years. In the 1960s, it's all transformed into what you see here, which is a 2-story, 5-block radius. So you're going to see MARTA train lines underneath us. MARTA is our public transit. The underground is open. You can get down to the underground. The underground still has all of those original streets and storefronts. They actually preserved all of that when they transformed it into this entertainment. Gold leaf as well. Yep, it's 23 karat gold, and it's also Georgia gold. It's coming from the Georgia mountains. We had a gold rush in Georgia all the way back in 1828, which means that was before the West Coast Gold Rush, which was news to me because I grew up in California and they didn't teach us anything. Which means Hollywood has made you believe this is Washington, D.C. as well. Tyler Perry uses this building for the Oval, and the Class of '09 on Hulu has also filmed over here. We've actually been the capital of Georgia since and you don't have to come back into the building to find us, but if you're looking for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s statue, it's actually just on the other side of this building over here. So sadly we can't see it because the Capitol is blocking your view, but we do get to stop at Dr. King's Memorial Site in National Park. That's actually those stairs. The opening ceremonies field is blocked by that parking deck. He actually walked to the opening ceremonies with a stage with his daughter. There was a cauldron on that stage, and it was an archer who took the flame and shot it to the top of that tower. There's your gold again, if you want to see that on your left-hand side, and I just cleaned it. It's extra shiny. Took him about a month on the scaffolding to polish it. I imagine it was Mr. Miyagi that was up there. Child of the 80s, sorry. You know they take it seriously when there's an animal on the roof. Daddy's barbecue joint. I realize this looks a little sus or questionable to some of you, but I promise this has been open for 30 years for reasons. Look around you, everything is new and they're still here. This place is amazing. In Georgia, we favor pork, and their ribs fall right off the bone. You typically aren't going to find a lot of barbecue sauces because in Texas they believe if your meats are made properly, you should not need a dipping sauce. No judgment from the 1850s, and have yourself a picnic inside the historic Oakland Cemetery. Are you ready for that? A cemetery. And definitely treat it like a park space. Come back, have a good time, walk your dog, have a picnic, do whatever you get married, do whatever you want to do here. But it's been dividing the city for quite some time. So if you were to make a right from here, in about a mile is Zoo at Karaoke. If you like karaoke, look out for church organ karaoke. It is a live organ player, but pop songs. Think Britney Spears and Rihanna with an organ. It's harder than it sounds. Now, again, 6 blocks of fun, good times. This is the Edgewood District, and one of my favorite spots is right across the way here. If you like video games from the 80s and 90s that required quarters to play, Joystick is going to be there for you. That's a lot of fun. So this is the party, a little quiet during the day, but right next to the Edgewood District, Black Panther. And right there is where they shoot the spaceship out of the high-rise to go to Wakanda at the end of the first Black Panther. And I used to live in Oakland. I was convinced they filmed that there. No. They made you believe this is Oakland, California. Now, our church here on the right-hand side has actually been a museum since 1999 because they needed a bigger church. And the only way you can get a tour is if you can get a nice tour with this young man, and it's all scheduled tours. You have to show up for that. You won't have time for that while you're here. But there is a souvenir shop for the church itself if it's open. And the church where you can attend services if you would like to is right across the street. Dr. King's daughter, Dr. Bernice King, is actually the co-pastor here alongside one of our politicians, Dr. Raphael Warnock. On the other side of the street there, you also have the visitor center. If you can see those green roofs, the entrance to the visitor center is going to be just under the green roofs, and you can enter back behind us where that family is, or you can enter where this person is on the stoop. If you can see that brick rounded pillar, those are your entrances to either side. We will have a chance to stop here on this side. You're going to find Dr. King Jr. and Coretta, his wife, buried side by side up ahead of us in the mausoleum. And if you can see here where that person in red just came from, that gazebo was installed about 2 years ago for Coretta. It's one of the